Hello, web designers. Today we're gonna attack chapter two. Chapter two is gonna be now working with websites. We're gonna address the creating a website later, but now we're gonna open an existing website. You can see the difference between working with a website and working with only one web page. So to open a site, and please pay attention, we're gonna go to site right here, click on it. And if you have already worked with the site, you should see it in recent sites. And as you see, there's a lot of sites I had worked with. But I'm going to open a new site. So I'm going to click on Open Site. I'm going to browse. Then I'm going to go to where I save where the data files for this class. Go student data files, data for text, tutorial 2, data files, tutorial. And I want to stop right here. If you have any images folder in that particular folder, you want to stop. Now, the book is not as good as we want it to be, but it's better than any other book that I worked with. Later on, we'll show you why. But today, this is going to work okay. So I'm right here. Tutorial folder is going to be my root folder for this particular exercise. So I'm going to click Open, then click Open. As you can see, now in my folder list, I have things. What are the things? First, I have my root folder right here, which is the tutorial folder. Within that root folder, I have only one file, which is one page. So that particular website, it has only one web page. So I'm going to open this page and see what it has. So ideally here is we're going to try to format the page and make it a little bit more colorful and a little bit more presentable. But I want to keep that data file in case I have to come back to it. So I'm going to go ahead and save it as something else. So I'm going to go File, Save As. And if you don't see .html, because it automatically are added to it. So please do not add another .html. And in here, I'm going to type ensure new.html. And again, I can change the title, the document title right away here if you are interested. And I would like to do that. This is good practice. It's something I want to do all the time. So on here, I'm going to type Radian. Oh, I'm sorry. Radian. Excuse my language. Texas Insurance Office. The book is asking actually to do this anyways on page 51, but I'd like to do it in here as a good practice. Click OK, click Save. So now my website has two web pages, one, the original one, and the one we are working with right now. If you notice, this right here has like an edit icon. That's mean this is the page I'm working with, and I'm gonna edit it. I can open multiple pages. They will be right here on tabs. I'll show you. So I opened the insurance.html. Now I have two pages are being edited, and I have two tabs. To close the page you don't want to, I'm going to click on this X for this tab right here to close this particular page. Again, it's also a good idea to add the keywords and the description for that page. So I'm going to go right click, page properties, and I can see the titles already in here. In the page descriptions, you're going to add your first name, last name, / tutorial 2, any keywords, again, something I do not agree with. So, but you can see why they have Flynn this way, Flynn that way, because some people may have misspelled the word, which is a good idea. And I can have Flynn Insurance Company and also Insurance Company. So these are good keywords people can actually search for. Then I click OK. Save. When you see an asterisk on your page like this, that means your page is not saved. So I'm going to quickly save it, Control S. How often I should save? As often as I could. And I have a very quick fingers to do Control S very quickly. On page 52, we're going to add a color to the page. But before I proceed, I want you to pay attention to this area right here. Anything we're going to be doing to this page, you're going to see a lot of codes added in here. Not codes, it's just styles. So this is a style area we're going to be working with. One bad thing about Expression Web, Dreamweaver kind of improved on this. It generates a lot of auto styles, and that's really not good because sometimes it could click if you're creating a special template, and something we discuss that later. So it's really good practice to rename your styles or to create your styles before you apply them. We're gonna be doing that in a later chapter, but this time we're gonna just do quick styles. Okay, so let's begin. So on page 52, we're gonna add a background color to the page. So I'm gonna again go right click, page properties. In the formatting tab, that allows me to do a lot of things. I can add a background picture, but if I added a background picture, your picture is gonna tile up horizontally and vertically. It's gonna tile up. When you use a cascade styling, we can actually control that better. And I will show you that how this is done if you are interested. Uh, Watermark, this is no longer really a good practice. We can do that better in cascade styling. Here to add a back and also a foreground color. Now just remember, if your background color is light, your foreground color should be dark, and vice versa. You can have a black background and a black text, and has happened, and it's really not a good page to read. You can, if you can read it, that is. So I'm gonna click on a background color area right here, and I have a standard colors. You have to understand there are standard colors, and there are more colors you can actually add. The standard colors are you can actually type in the name of the standard colors like yellow, and yellow will appear. I can add black, and black will appear. If not, then we'll add what we call hexadecimal colors. The hexadecimal colors are 16 coded colors. I'll explain that to you in a little bit. So I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna open a Microsoft Word document and explain to you how those hexadecimal colors really work. Just a second. Well, I use the Excel because actually Excel can lay this content for me better. So as I said, your hexadecimal colors have 16 numbers. So the number is going to go, 0 is a one number, it's going to go all the way up to 15. However, if we put number 10, this is 2 digits. So this is going to really confuse the code, the program. So what we did, we replaced 10 with A, 11 with B, 12 with C, 13 with D, 14 with E, and 15 with F. So back in here, I'm going to click on this arrow. Again, this is standard color. I just mean the standard color, I'm just going to give them a name instead of the hexadecimal colors, and will appear. If you want more refined colors, I can click on more colors. I can select the colors I want. I can see the hexadecimal 6 characters long, FFFF00. So just to follow the book, I can delete all this right here and type, oh, look at that. It is FFFF60 I wanted to select. Well, I can just type it like this, FFFFCC. I hit tab and automatically formats it for me. So when I give you on a test, something like this, all you have to do is just type FFFFCC. So now the background color is kind of light, and I don't think you're gonna see it, but I'm gonna apply it anyways. So I click OK. I don't see it very well, so I'm gonna change it to something a little bit brighter or dark, so you can see the difference. So I'm gonna go back to page property, go to formatting tab, right here, go more colors, and select something a little bit darker. So I click OK. Okay, and you can actually see the background. So right away, I'm going to Control S to save. Okay, you can actually play around and select the color of your background if you're interested. Let's just make sure when you turn in this exercise as part of your assignment to follow that color status, which is FF, FF, and CC. I'm on page 54. We're going to start working with something you already did with the notepad is adding, changing the fonts or changing the type of the fonts. So, or in this case, changing the paragraph to headings. So I'm going to go to the very first paragraph right here. I'm going to select it either here or here. And I'm going to use the common toolbar to change the paragraph from the paragraph style to heading style. Now remember, Notepad, we have heading 1 through heading 6. Heading 1 is the largest font size with bold, and heading 6 is the smallest font size with bold. And we will talk about those, not all of them, but most of them when the time comes. So I'm gonna select heading 1. I can see automatically has changed. So I'm going to go back to this heading 1. I'm going to change the font type. Remember, there are not every font you can apply that looks really nice on your computer could be what we call a safe font. What is a safe font? If you apply some kind of font that is really nice and you really enjoy it, uh, I may not have that font on my own computer. Remember, to view your website, I have to, or your web page, I have to download everything you have done to the web page on my own computer. If the font type, I don't have that font type on my own computer, it's not gonna come up. The program is gonna select the closest font type to it, and that could be a problem because the font that you're selecting is not the font I'm seeing. So there are web font safe, and there are, we call them family fonts. So I'll explain that to you. So if I'll select this heading 1. I click on the default font arrow, and you can see those are family fonts. What does that mean? If I select an Arial, so Arial is pretty much is a standard font. If somebody deleted that Arial font from their own computer, so the next things will select that second type of font, which is Helvetica, and this type is sans serif. If you're interested to understand that type of fonts, that's usually graphic designer really work with this kind of fonts. It's on page 56 and figure 211. It explain to you what serif is, sans serif is, monospace is, fantasy, and cursive. I'm not going to go into much detail, but if you are interested, please read this, and this really will be an interest of you. I should have closed my Outlook, huh? At any rate, so the kind of font I'm gonna select is Arial, and I'm gonna also look as soon as I selected Arial, what happened here? And applied an auto style, and you look in that screen tip, the auto style shows font family Arial, Helvetica, sans serif. Well, I'm not done with it. I'm gonna center it, so I'm gonna click on the center alignment, and I go back in here. Shows that text align center is applied to it. As long as I'm working on this particular element, things will be adding to this auto style. Ideal is rename that style to match my headings, so I don't have to have a problem with it later on. We'll show you how that is done later. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and Control S to save. Now the heading 1 is still selected. Next thing I'm gonna add borders. This is something that's really nice that Expression Web does have those quick step that Dreamweaver does not. I can add quick borders in here if I want to, but it's ideally to do it differently. So I'm gonna, because I want to format those borders, I'm gonna click on Format, Borders and Shading. Here I can select that type of borders I want to apply. First, I want it to be box. I can customize it, but I want to be boxed. I want it to have outset, so you can see they have like a 3D dimension kind of shape. The color, I want it to be red. And the width, I want it to be 5. I can use the arrow or I can just type 5 in there. And padding is 4 pixels. What's a padding? It's the space between the content and the border. Again, it's the space between the content, in this case the text, and the border. So you just add in margin to it. Then I click OK. I'm gonna save quickly, do F12 to see it in the browser. And voila. And that's what we have in the browser. I'm gonna keep the browser open because we're gonna come back to it later. On page 62, the book does talk about the colors and hexadecimals and the WebSafe colors, and things we already talked about. For more information, you can actually read that page 56, page 62, which is really good information. Now I'm gonna add background color to the heading 1. I also want to add a font color to that heading 1 because I just want to make it more presentable. So again, I'm gonna go to Format, Borders and Shading. I'm gonna go to the Shading tab. The background color is gonna be teal. That's olive, green, teal. And the foreground color is gonna be yellow. So I'm gonna select yellow right here. Now what's the foreground color? Is the text. Then I click OK. See what happens. Save, go to my browser, and refresh. I just noticed something. As you can see, the three-dimensional border is not actually shown in here because I'm using the newer Internet Explorer. The Internet Explorer 8.0 actually shows that, but again, depends on your browser. It might show it, it might not. Let me go see if in the Chrome, see if Chrome actually shows it better. So I'm going to close this one, go right here, and select Chrome. See if that Chrome actually shows that 3D. And let's see. No, it doesn't. Let's see Firefox if it shows it. So if Firefox doesn't show it, then Firefox does. So Firefox actually shows that 3D shape right here. Again, not every browser does it. So this is why you have to check every browser you want. And now Internet Explorer is not the most common used browser. It's actually Chrome is, but that's it's going to be changing with the implementation or the release of Windows 8, because Windows 8, new Internet Explorer for Windows 8 is different, really different, based on for tablets. Now after I applied the font type, I'm gonna change the font size to size 18. So I made it a little smaller. It's still all in auto style too. So let's save this and see if we can apply this to the rest of the headings. So I'm going to go right here, select P, apply heading 2, and right here right click on auto style, right click on auto style, and apply style. Again, let's do this one for let us reassure you. Heading 2, right click on this and apply style. Select, here are some of the advantages we offer. Change to heading 2, right click on apply style, and apply style. Save. So on page 64, we're going to talk about how to emphasize text. The reason why just to stand out, like for the heading we use back here on this page, we use the certain font and type and colors to emphasize the titles and also the headings. How about if I want to do it within the paragraph? I can apply what we call physical tags or logical tags. Let's just start begin how to do this. The first sentence after each heading, we're gonna add an italic tag, or we can do Control I to do the same thing. We're gonna do this for every first paragraph after heading 2. We're gonna save. So we're gonna go ahead and go all the way down to the page, highlight those 3 paragraphs, apply bold, and I'm gonna highlight this paragraph here and apply italic. Control S to save. The next thing that we're gonna do is apply unordered list. I know you're already familiar with unordered list because you did that with your first assignment. But look how easy that is applied. But you have to be careful. First thing you need to be aware of, you have to have paragraphs in order to apply the unordered or ordered list. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs, which I'm gonna highlight, and then I'm gonna simply click an ordered list right here. And there we go. Control S to save. I want to customize the bullets. So now I'm going to apply style so I can add a different type of bullets. So this list is highlighted. So I'm going to go to Format, Bullets and Numbering. And from here I can select the bullets I want. And in this case I want to add a square. You can add diamond if you're interested, but in this case you have to go into the code and change the square to diamond. Control S to save. If we are following the textbook, on page 73, we're going to talk about creating a definition list. So definition list is what it is a name, and you have to describe what that name is all about. So the definition below that name is indented to the right. I'll explain. We'll show you how that is done. So at the end of this lower rate, I'm going to hit enter twice. When you hit enter twice, it will take you out of the bullet mode. So I hit Control S, and I'm going to type that information on page 73, where I'm going to add 4 paragraphs. So here I added 4 paragraphs as it shows in page 73. So now I'm going to apply the definition terms and the definition list. So first I'm going to highlight all these right here. Then from my paragraph list, I'm going to select definition term. So clump them all at one. Then at the second paragraph, I'm going to do the definition list. And here it is. So Control S to save. And you can see on page 74, our picture looks exactly the same. The next step we're going to be doing is we're going to apply color to my bullets. I'm going to highlight the list by clicking the UL right here. Then I'm going to go Format Font. In the Format Font, there's a lot of things you can do. In the effects, there's on page 76, it shows you what you can do with the effects. All these are applied through styles. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to change this to bold. I'm going to select the color maroon. I can even change the size. All can be done at one time, but again, we are creating a style for those particular lists. Then I can click apply to see how it's done. And if you like your review, if you like the result, then click OK to finish. Control S to save, or click Save button to save. The next thing I'm going to work with is working with this paragraph. I'm going to change the way the paragraph line spacing and indentation from the right and the left. Again, this is much easier using Expression Web than Dreamweaver, but again, you can generate a lot of styles on your style panel. So I'm going to highlight the paragraph. I'm going to go to Format, Paragraph. And in here, I can keep the alignment the same, which is the left. I want to left side indented 20 pixels from the left and 20 pixels from the right. And then the first line 10 pixels. And I want to do the spacing at 12 pixels. And make the line spacing double. and we end up with having a quotated paragraph, which is emphasizing this is actually a quote from another author, speaker, whoever you think that's possible. The next thing I'm gonna create is character spacing. If you're familiar with Microsoft Word, we use that quite a bit. So I'm gonna scroll all the way up to the top of the page, select this heading, then I go to Format, Font, Character Spacing, and increase that character spacing to from normal to expanded, and I wanted to do it by 3 pixels. And click OK. Control S to save. To create an horizontal line, I'm going to go towards the bottom. Right in this area right here, I'm going to go Insert, HTML, horizontal line. The stuff we're going to be doing next for the horizontal line is not guaranteed that's going to work with browsers, but we're going to try. We can actually double click on the horizontal line and change its width to 85%. Change the height to 4 if you're interested. Keep it center. Change the color to maroon. And you can do solid line or no shading. By default, it's shaded. Then I'm going to click OK. Again, it's not guaranteed it's going to work with all browsers, but we're going to try to see how we're done with that. So we're going to go to the Firefox browser, refresh, and here are the changes. And again, it didn't quite work in here. That's expected, but something that you need to try and test as you go along. So I'm going to minimize this browser. So I'm going to do at the very end is I'm going to add my information. So I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to add a symbol. Symbol could be the copyright, trademark, registered symbol, or there's a lot more symbols you can add. They're moved away from the coding to more word coding, and I'll explain to you in a little bit what that means. So to insert a symbol, I'm going to go Insert, Symbol, and here I have the common symbols I have, but I want to do a copyright. And here is the code. In the past, we used to have # and 3 digits. You can try that on your own and see what kind of characters you might get. So there are thousands of characters you can add. Some of those characters actually produces letters or European letters. They're not going to produce Asian letters, but they're going to produce European letters. So I'm going to click Insert, then Close. In here, I'm going to hit space, type 2013, Shift Enter to break the line, my first and last name, space, comma, tutorial 2. I'm going to highlight the paragraph, apply bold, navy blue, and center. We're done with this particular exercise.